want to introduce you to Moshe I'm going to say it wrong, Bursuker.
Correct, yeah, you got it.
Yeah, I all get it for some reason. It's a mental block. So, Moshe, when I first met you, it was because A, we have a common friend,
right.
and B, because we wanted to do an Art in the Spotlight for 068 magazine featuring glass blowing.
Right.
And you being the glass blower around that is like most well known, most celebrated, you know, it was an easy choice to focus on you in Avari Studio, which you own in North Salem. So tell us about your artistic journey. What led you to work with glass? How did you learn it? And how did you develop your skills? Because I'm sure it's a lot of trial and error, but tell us about it.
Yeah, 100%. It's pretty simple. I always like to tell people that glass found me. Like I didn't find glass. It kind of drew me into it. And I started back in, I mean, it had to have been like in the late 90s. I took my first glass class in college at the University of Hartford, at the Hartford Art School. And then since then, it was just sort of became this sort of like love affair with material. I just continually pushed post-college, moving to Brooklyn and then going all over the Northeast and to Corning, New York, going up to Seattle, and basically traveling around and trying to pick artists who I'd admired and tried to get into their studios and learn from them. So it was like it was an evolution. It takes years of practice, just like playing an instrument. So the more time you get with the material, the better you get with it, the more you understand what you can do with it, and then your work will evolve from there.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I love that you do is these wall pieces.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a lot of sculptural pieces like this beautiful tree. There's a bunch of them. They have these light up bases. They're amazing. But the wall pieces are kind of unique. You carve into them, if I understand.
So those are like the first wall glass installations I started doing. And so when I was younger, I was really into photography. I actually majored in college in photography and sculpture. So by merging these two aesthetics together in glass seemed to kind of marry themselves very well. And so what I started doing is I started creating my own sort of image plates, is what I would call them. Like I don't use the word canvas because I was actually trying to put image onto the glass. And so what I did was, by creating these glass discs with layering various colors, I was able to carve through one layer of color to reveal the next. And I realized that I can kind of achieve these detailed looking imagery with very simple detail.
Yeah.
And be able to not just create like imagery, but patterns, line works, different types of two-dimensional perspective studies, and then becomes either carved or encased in glass, and they kind of show off the work and the concept behind the imagery. So the glass kind of preserves the imagery in a sculptural manner. So I was sort of very drawn to that.
Yeah,
aesthetic.
and they're beautiful. There's so many pieces. The piece from the last live that I was sitting in front of is another piece that went through this process. So I understand that, you know, finding the right workspace can be challenging for a lot of artists, but even more so for you, because you need a forge, you need a lot of, you need the equipment. So I know you told us, I believe in the article, that when you moved into this new home, when you were looking for your home with your family, you found this barn and transformed it. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so finding a glassblowing studio to work at is not the easiest thing. It's it requires a lot of energy, technology, material, and it's not conventional. Most people understand how to use a wood shop or a metal shop, for example, a fabrication studio, but a glassblowing studio is kind of this living, breathing kind of beast of an operation. And so I was motivated to kind of have my own studio after 20 years of working with glass. And using other facilities, I found a space that I was able to coexist. So I was able to inhabit and I was able to work. And being so close to the shop and being able to like manage it and put out fires when necessary, but also be able to like create a studio that would be conducive to the type of work that I wanted to make, so that for once in my career I wasn't jumping from studio to studio depending on what I wanted to do. Everything was there, so it really has kind of transformed the way in which I work in this sort of second big part of my artistic journey.
Yes, and I mean, I can tell now because you can do more larger pieces, more public artwork.
Also, time is like an amazing factor for an artist, to be able to like sit with something, not be rushed because it's in someone else's space, to be able to like, you know, really explore your own work, and then again, catering the space around what you want to make, I think is a huge victory.
Yes, absolutely. And the space is really neat. If you ever get a chance to stop by, you know, I'm sure he would welcome you in to take a tour like he did us.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I got to tell you, it's really neat to watch. We have an amazing video we're going to actually put onto Dee Colabella's YouTube, and we'll link to it in this video. So now your work is visually captivating, of course. I mean, it's gorgeous. Can you tell us where you get your inspiration from? It seems to come a lot from nature. Am I correct?
Yeah, sort of like environmental is a big factor. In my earlier image work, you'll see that everything was much more like architectural, because I was living in Brooklyn at the time. I was exploring all these different cities, and I was traveling a lot, going to different glass places throughout the country. So being urban environments were a big inspiration, and then clearly moving to North Salem, your environment changes overnight, and it becomes much more like about, you know, kind of the quiet nature perspective and trees, and the kind of the architecture of, you know, looking at buildings, and then now the architecture of trees, and that sort of has dictated, you know, the direction of my work.
Yeah, definitely. You can tell because there's a lot of very organic shapes, and it looks like branches and trees, and of course the very obvious tree and cloud that you're looking at now. So in addition to your individual works, you've completed some large scale public art. Can you tell us about one of these projects and what it's like creating at that scale?
Well, it's kind of funny that you mention it right now, because we're actually about to embark in one of the largest public projects, and I'm actually most looking forward to this one rather than the ones in the past, because this particular project is going to accompany about 500 units of glass, all individually hand blown, all different sizes and different colors, that will kind of make, there'll be 5 separate installations sort of based on the kind of colors and feelings of each season. And so we're going to be doing this in New Rochelle, New York, through Arts Westchester and High Garden Tower. So I want to make sure that I mention all those people involved. It's a collaboration between myself, Gunnar Rainford, who is a team member at Avari Studio with me. We placed this proposal, and within the next 3 months we'll be working on it and then unveiling it, hopefully right around, you know, Christmas, New Year's time.
Oh, that's so exciting! I can't wait to see.
Yeah, it's street level. It'll be beautiful. It'll involve glass reacting with natural light, and then we're also adding supplemental light at night, so there'll be like this inner kind of glow from the glass. So
amazing.
We're really excited for this sort of new venture.
And as soon, if you follow either Dee Colabella Fine Art and Avari Studio.
We'll be posting about it regularly.
We will keep you guys updated on when that installation goes into place, because I'm sure everybody's going to want to see it. I'm totally intrigued. So, you know, you have done other forms besides sculptural, including lighting, of course, and more functional glass, like vessels, vases. You know, how does your approach shift when you're designing something a little bit more functional rather than the art?
So I think functional for glass blowers, potters, even material makers, metals, woods. Whether you're forging steel, whether you're painting, whether you're doing anything, repetition is key. So one of the ways in which I like to hone in on technique is by making functional wares. So like, for example, making Venetian goblets or making really intense patterns in large scale vessels. So really, like, vessel forms and shape studies are a great way to achieve mastery in material. But sometimes that's not enough, and there's like another part of me that wants to like put a different sort of concept or a different technique out into the world. Then I sort of turn my mind and shift it into something that's going to be more sculptural, and something that's going to maybe not take as much like glass blowing technique, but will take a whole different type of process in order to achieve.
Well, he's got beautiful functional items like the vases. I think they're works of art in and of themselves, but they are vase or a bowl or a goblet, and they're gorgeous also. So definitely checking out his work on his website too, which is
avaristudio.com.
Definitely go out there and check out what he has out there that's not in the gallery. So looking ahead, what can we expect from you in the coming year besides the installation? I mean, that's a big thing.
I'm after this big public arts project is sort of already starting to spawn new ideas. And lately, I've been working on these like super large assembled vessels. So I'm trying to create like big sort of like champagne flutes or wine glasses. They're about as high as I am. I'm trying to take this idea of like, small sort of delicate work and just like really kind of scale it up. So we'll see where that takes us. I'm always going to be drawn to like working with imagery and cast and carved glass. So we'll see. It's really hard. I like to try to flush out a couple ideas in the studio and sort of see what sticks, see what I'm drawn to and what not. I work both like in 2D, but I really like to get my ideas out in the studio to flush out, to really know what I'm going to end up focusing on, for the next few months or years.
And it's, as we know, art always evolves, so it's going to be amazing to see what happens in the next year. So we'll end the interview with what's the most meaningful piece of advice that you've ever received as an artist? It's something I ask everybody. So
probably my favorite one was, don't be afraid to make something ugly, and don't be afraid to fail. So I'd probably make don't be afraid to make something that don't be inhibited, or don't worry about what other people are going to think about it. Just get it. Just do it. Just get it out there. Figure it out.
Have you ever started making something that you thought was going to be ugly, and all of a sudden you're like, I love it?
I've probably made more ugly things than pretty things, and I've probably broken more than I've made. And I think because of that not being afraid to like fail, and just kind of learning from it, I think it's probably the best advice. And I'm being kind of like a little self-relentless helps too. So to have that like kind of, I'm okay to fail 10, 20, 30, 40 times. I'm going to figure it out.
Exactly.
So this kind of bit of stubbornness is not a bad thing.
Exactly. Okay, well, thank you so much for sitting for the interview. And again, I know I've said it about 5 times, but I'm going to repeat. The Instagram tag for Moshe is Avari Studio. There is an Avari Studios, but don't follow that one. It's just singular, not plural. Go ahead and, if you can, follow Colabella Fine Art here on Instagram, but also follow us on YouTube and TikTok. We will be posting snippets of this interview in Reels, and you'll be able to follow that throughout the next couple of months. And if you're in the area, we really hope to see you tomorrow night for the opening. Also, come back in a couple minutes and we'll be having our interview with Brian. Thank you guys so much for joining this live, and we'll see you back in a couple.